All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Saskatoon Minor Football's first virtual flag coaches clinic. My name is Matt Yowzy. I've been involved with Saskatoon Minor Football for 20 years, and it is crazy to say that out loud. So I've been a football player growing up in the Flag Football League in Saskatoon. Played high school, played Hilltops, played Huskies, played Rams, and then got into coaching throughout all those years. So I have a lifetime of football experience, and here I'm really happy to share some football knowledge and give you coaches some tools to fill your toolbox. So I'm much better with football and in person than I am with technology. So it's got me a little bit nervous, but all I'm going to do is my best. So if something goes wrong, feel free to unmute yourself and say, hey, Matt, something's not working. If you do have questions, there's a chat button on the bottom row. You can just put your questions in the chat. And as we kind of get through sections, I can address the questions as we go along. Okay. I want to thank everybody for taking their time to come on to this virtual coaches clinic and being a either interested parent or a coach with experience and knowledge, or a coach that kind of got thrown into the position of coaching because no one else would coach on the team. So I just want to extend a big thank you from myself, from Saskatoon Minor Football, for taking on the role and the responsibility of a coach. And today we'll be reviewing our game day procedures and protocols, as well as using the Football Canada mobile app.
For anyone that just joined us, Matt lost reception or connection, so he'll be back shortly.
That I don't. Wait.
Hi, folks. I'm having internet issues. Um, Thanks for your patience. It shows that it's still recording. I apologize. I'm in BC. I'm in an Airbnb. I'm here for work. I'm in the room with the router, and yeah, it dropped me. So technical difficulty number one. But if anything in the past year and with coaching experience that I have, we have to be able to adapt. So I apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm going to check the chat. Can people just maybe write on the chat that you can hear me? All good. Yeah. Okay. Again, thanks for your patience, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just I'm even in the room with the router. I don't know what else to do. So let's continue. So basically, first thing I want to talk about is your player needs. So this is geared for grades 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So our Colts division grade 1, 2, and our Stamps grade 3, 4. So our players needs. What do our players need? Well, I believe they need to feel a sense of belonging, being part of a team, being part of a group. And as a coach, we need to foster that inclusion, okay? And kids want to have fun. They also want to touch the football. They want to learn skills, and they want to progress, and they want to get better, right? And the players' needs at that level aren't necessarily wins and losses. In this league and Saskatoon minor football, with flag football, isn't about stats, wins, losses, and records. It's about playing football. It's about being part of a team. It's about having fun. It's about getting better, and that's our role and responsibility as a coach. Is to provide a safe opportunity for our these young people to learn and grow and maybe fall in love with the game. Another thing that I want to touch on is parents' expectations. Parents' expectations, I believe is good communication. A coach that's going to, be thorough and, have a plan in place, be prepared. Okay, so that means having a practice plan and a playbook, and that's kind of why you're here today. And I believe also equal opportunity. Their parents want to, see their kid touch the ball once a game, and fair play, good sportsmanship, and an enjoyable experience for everyone. And that's coaches, that's parents, and that's players. So with that being said, we need to kind of address, do you have grade ones that have all never played football before? Okay, well, how you approach and the drills and the skills and things are going to be a little bit different. Do you have a team that's got grade fours predominantly that have played in our league for a number of years? Well, that practice plan might look a little bit different than the very, very beginners. So in saying that, I encourage you all, when you get your team rosters and you do your communication, to reach out to any parents or reach out to the team and say, hey, if anybody's interested in helping, be an assistant coach, help at practice, help at games, please do, because with these younger age groups, you need to keep kind of everybody engaged. So whether that's on the sidelines or whether that's, on the field. So our league, and I'll get to this in our PowerPoint presentation, is, to have multiple coaches, to have a coach on the sidelines, maybe doing some throwing and catching or some drills or keeping them engaged. Because I remember when I coached a team like that, and my nieces and nephews, they're in the trees or they're climbing on the park over there or they're on the playground. And so, to try to keep everything kind of moving and keep people engaged. So that means that not a lot of wait time at practice, as far as like a line of one person doing something and 9 people watching. And we'll kind of get into that as we go. So I tend to go on some tangents and some rambles, getting off track a little bit, but that's just the nature of how I do these clinics. And again, feel free, if you do have questions as we go along, to put them in the chat, and I'll bounce back and forth and try to answer all the questions as we go along. So the video is still going, so it's a small victory. All right, so I'm going to open up and screen share a uh, I hope everybody can see this. Okay, I can't quite see the chat, but this is on our website. And this is something that I put together for an app developer to create a coaching kind of certification or a module so a coach can receive this. So this is PowerPoint that is going to get worked into an app and modules and quizzes and little stuff like that. But I just pulled some pieces out of it. So this is about our flag football league. So let me just see if I can move this around so I can read a little bit better. Okay, so the equipment that the players are responsible for it's their choice if they have mouth guards. We are moving in that direction, and in our grade 1, 2, 3, 4 leagues, typically, it's non-contact football, but in the beginning, all the athletes are new and sometimes collisions happen. So mouth guard is optional by the players. Shoes or cleats, soccer cleats, anything that's non-metal, running shoes are just fine. Gloves are optional. And we provide, SMF provides the coaches with footballs. So we'll be getting you 4 or 5 footballs in a bag. Typically with the younger division, we use the Wilson K2 and the Spalding rookie ball, which is really small, and it all depends on kind of the hand size of the player and whatever they really want to use within the smaller balls. We also provide coaches with a whistle, a team bag with flags, belts, cones, footballs. And our SMF gift this year is a kind of like a neck sleeve / kind of face mask. And Brian, our commissioner, will be dealing with kind of the COVID protocols and those things in regards to provincial legislation and what is coming from the the province and the city and whatnot. But one thing that you do want to watch out for is at practice or games that there's no earrings or necklaces or watches or things of that nature that could be caught by another player trying to flag someone or whatnot and cause some injury. So jerseys, which will be provided, they must be tucked in underneath the shorts. And I know that sometimes the jerseys are big, so if they're hanging over the shorts, you might not even be able to see the flags on some of these little guys and girls out there running around. So make sure that they're always tucked in, and the flag belts must be worn on the outermost layer and the flags on the hips. Any personal equipment, and usually at this age, hopefully they don't have any personal equipments, such as let's say a brace or, with the older divisions, maybe a knee brace or an ankle brace or something like that. If there's any hard plastic or metals on that, that's going to be covered with a sleeve, and that can be easily done with, let's say, cutting a big tube sock and then putting the tube sock over top. Okay. And as you can see in this picture, we got the flags on the hips, and this young fellow's got a mouth guard in, and that's how it kind of should look. Safety considerations. Okay, so flag football is non-contact, and like I said in the grade 1, 2, and I'll repeat myself many times in this clinic because we talk about many of the same things, and it really kind of drives home the message. We want to avoid contact on offense and defense. And this is much easier said than done, especially when the grade 1s and 2s is much like herding cats. And herding cats is very difficult to do, and they just kind of follow the ball or the laser or whatever. And so they're just going to be all running around. Okay, so what we want to do is to avoid contact on offense and defense. And on offense, things that I teach about is to run to space and to be in an athletic stance and to control your body at all time. One thing that you also want to do is primarily play the flags. All right, play the flags, play the football in the air, play the flags. Okay, so our field setup, we're going to inspect the field prior to practices and games. We're looking for any broken glass, divots, gopher holes, garbage, anything as we set up our fields. These are the dimensions of the fields. But we have a nice little video here, and this is going to challenge my technical prowess. So I click this, and I hope you all can see this as this YouTube is loading up and hopefully not crashing my video. But it's just a little drawing, so to speak, of as it's loading and pinwheeling. Anyways, it's just a virtual drawing of the field. And I think I'm going to exit out of it before I crash and go. But as you can see on this photo right here, we have end zone markers in the back. So there's going to be 4 pylons in the back, 2 back corners, 2 front corners. That's 10 yards, 10 steps, 10 paces, 10 fairly big paces. And then from there, there's a little notch that's 5 yards away, and we put a cone there, and that's the no rush zone. So that means if you have the ball on offense and you're on the 5-yard line or the 4 or the 3 going in to score, you cannot run the ball into the end zone, meaning you have to throw the ball. Okay, and then from there, about 15 paces from there, so that's 5 and then another 15. If you're playing with the grade 1s and 2s, I don't mind the field being a little bit wider and shorter. Okay, if you've got 3 4s with lots of experience, sure, make it a little bit bigger so that more offensive plays or more explosive plays or more success can be had. That's, then there's a center mark. And then from there, it's just the opposite on either side. Anywhere from 25 to 30 yards wide is just fine. Okay, our weather policies. We play football in all sorts of weather conditions. I've played in all of them and I've coached in all of them, except for lightning. We do shut things down with lightning. So if lightning occurs somewhere within a visual distance, stop play immediately and assess the scene. And all right, technical difficulty. We're going. All right, so okay, I hope you guys can all see that. That was the weather that we just talked about. Okay, so game length and time, it's about 50 minutes. We got 2 25-minute halves. We don't, the coaches keep track of the time. So at the conclusion of the 25-minute half, there'll be a short halftime. You can call final 3 plays at the end of the game when there's about 5 minutes left. And I like to, at this age, make sure that we have an even amount of possessions. So if I start with the ball in the second half, all right, then, towards the end of the game, the other team has the ball at the end of the game so that our possessions match up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to start moving through some of this stuff. So, we strongly encourage every game for the coaches to meet and to chat with each other just about their experience levels. Hey, coach, I have a brand new group of players that have never played football before. I'm a brand new coach. In fact, I'm a parent. I don't even played football before. And and then you guys can get on the same page. Then if the other team is more experienced, well, then they can, do some things to level the playing field. And so in saying that, if you have, let's say, a grade 4 team that has plenty of experience and you're playing a grade 3 team-ish that has no experience, well, maybe you start your players at 7 yards instead of starting them at 5, right? And so there's different ways that you can kind of make and shape the game for it to be fun, because we want the players to have a fun experience. And if you have a really strong team and you're flagging them 1 yard from the line of scrimmage every single play, well, yeah, that's fun for a bit, but let's challenge your players. Maybe start them at 10 yards, maybe start them at different levels, 2 higher or 2 lower plus the rusher. Anyways, those are a few options to kind of get on the same page as far as making it a fun experience. Prior to the game, there'll be a coin toss or rock, paper, scissors. So, you can gather one captain at the middle of the field. And from that gathering, of keeping our physical distance, maybe it's rock, paper, scissors. And if you win, you get the ball. Okay. And in the second half, the other team will get the ball. All right. We have a little video that shows the coin toss. I'm not going to play it because it'll crash my computer and my internet connection. General play, and I do not have a whistle on me, which is crazy because I used to really work the whistle at the coaches clinics as well as on the field. Okay, but you will be given a whistle, and whistles are important because it allows you to command the attention of your players. It allows you, and it's most important because it starts and stops every play. So once you get the little guys set up after the huddle, then you ask the defense, say, defense, are you ready? Everybody's ready. You blow the whistle. Now, typically when you blow the whistle, kids are going to start running all over the place. But as you condition them, as you do this, you blow the whistle, then the quarterback says down, set, hut. The play begins. All right. Then when the ball, when the defender flags the player, you blow the whistle, the play ends. So it's the start and the finish of every player. It also organizes your practice. Whistle everybody in, and it creates some consistency and commands some attention from these little excited people playing football. The offensive team takes possession with the ball on its own 5-yard line. So that's the no rush 5-yard cone. On your own 5, you'll be going forward to the opposite end zone. Okay. If the offense fails to cross midfield, in 3 attempts, so 3 downs to cross midfield, then the other team will get the ball, and that's in the grade 3-4 division. And I think that we're going to be getting into that here shortly. Yes, Colts division, grade 1 and 2. So you start on the 5-yard line. In the Colts division, you get 5 plays with the ball no matter what. You could throw 5 interceptions to the other team, you're still going to get 5 plays. Okay, after those 5 plays, it could be 5 touchdowns, and you can move the ball accordingly. So you get a positive chunk of yards and kind of move forward accordingly, but you get 5 plays. Okay, some rules. Only the ball carrier can move once the ball crosses the line of scrimmage. And what happens in our Colts grade 1-2 division is they all run with the ball. And then sometimes that proves to be kind of like you're blocking. Other players are blocking other players from coming in. So just be mindful of that. And a fun little thing that you can kind of do is, okay, we're going to have a short pass play. And once that player gets the ball, everybody's frozen or play freeze, right? And they stand still. So if you can kind of create a game around whoever has the ball, runs, tries to score, evades, makes moves, all those types of things, but everybody else is playing frozen, right? While that player has the ball, and you can integrate that into your practice. So that happens in a game. Okay. And obviously this is when the ball is possessed by a player. We don't want everybody to freeze and the quarterback to have no one to throw to or run to. Things that you want to watch out for is there's no blocking. That's why we want to kind of avoid having other players running around while the ball carrier is running around. Jumping, leaving your feet. Yes, we can jump to catch a ball, but we don't want to be running with the ball and jumping, because then we're off the ground and then it could be potential for collision. All right. And diving. All right. So diving and leaving your feet is also another opportunity. So we just keep your feet on the ground, make football moves, evade, run to space, those types of things. We don't call penalties in flag football very often. One would be flag guarding. So you're running and you guard your flag. They're young kids. We want to coach and we want to teach. So if something happens where someone comes in kind of aggressively and kind of runs into somebody or plays I lost audio. Yes, I did. Can you hear me now? I lost my screen. I lost everything. Okay, number 3. That was number 3. Okay, so host disabled. Screen sharing. Okay, let's see, screen sharing. Let's go back to this. Thanks for your patience, everybody. I think we're back in action here. So we try not to call penalties, and we try to teach and coach. Okay, so if someone comes in aggressively and kind of gets the body and, you know, it's more contact related, hey, play the flags. Make sure you got your body in control and you're playing the flags, because we don't want collisions. And typically with these grade 1 through 4s, they're just learning. All right, so. Okay, Stampeders division, grade 3, 4. Again, teams must start on their 5-yard line. Okay, that's the 5-yard line of the no rush. Every team gets 3 chances, 3 tries, or 3 plays, okay, to get to half. So I always like with these young divisions to hand the ball off. This way, that way, hand the ball off, get the ball into a player's hand and get a positive chunk of yards. The defense is starting 5 yards away. All right. And if you hand the ball off, hopefully you're one wiggle away from making a play or getting positive yards and a positive experience and making it enjoyable for somebody. You rotate those players through the running back position and everybody gets a touch. Everybody has a positive experience, hopefully. If a team does not get to half, that midline in 3 plays, they're going to flip over to the other side and the other team gets the ball. Okay, so you lose possession, the other team gets the ball, they get 3 tries. If you cross half, all right, then you get another 3 plays to go and score. Okay, so there is, I believe in the grade 1-2 division, there is no rushing. Okay, so there's no rushing of the quarterback by any player. Okay, which means there's more defenders on that side, which doesn't necessarily make it easier. It's just a little bit more controlled and allows the quarterback to have success with some short passes or seeing the field or whatnot. In the grade 3-4 division, the designated rusher must start 5 yards away and cannot move until the steamboat count is up. Typically, that's a 5 steamboat count that is called by the coach. The defensive coach will call 1 steamboat, 2 steamboat, 3 steamboat. And if then after 5, that rusher leaves that mark and runs in after the quarterback and tries to flag the quarterback. If you get one of the players to call the steamboats, it's going to sound like this: 1 steamboat, 2 steamboat, 3 steamboat, 4 steamboat, and it's going to go a lot faster. So that's why we encourage the coaches to call out the steamboats. So it allows for that quarterback to see and create some time and those types of things. Okay. So coaches are allowed in the huddle on the field, calling plays. As you can see in the one photo where there's 2 coaches, and then on the other side, there's on the lower photo, there's coach in his huddle, and there's a defensive coach. Multiple coaches, the better. So ask your parents, ask people to help out. If you've got a family member or someone that wants to join, whatever the case is, more coaches, the better. More hands-on with these young, sorry, not hands-on, on more bodies helping, the better. Okay, all offensive coaches, it's really important to have a playbook. Okay, nice and big. Some coaches like whiteboards. I like playbooks at this. And if you're a coach that has a whiteboard, that's fine. You have to draw it up quick because we want our huddles to be 30 seconds. We want more plays, more fun. Less time in the huddle, whether it's drawing. So have a playbook. We're going to get into this app that I have, the Football Canada mobile app, and they have plays in there, lots of plays in there. You can either draw them up or use them, whatever the case is. But being really quick and efficient is important. And once the players are in position on offense, the offensive coach, well, the quarterback can ask defense, are you ready? They say yes. Offensive coach blows the whistle, boom, play begins. The defensive coaches, okay, you're responsible for pacing out. So wherever the ball is flagged, that's where the first cone or beanbag goes. And then you're responsible for pacing out cones at 5-yard rusher, or in our older divisions, it's 7 or 10 as far as the rusher goes. Having a defensive playbook is a great idea. A couple of different formations on defense. Everybody can be lined up across at 5 and cover a particular person. With the really young ones, they just chase the ball. All right. But you might be able to have 2 players sitting higher and deeper at 7 or 10 yards and 2 players lower if you want, or 5 across. Again, we want to create it simple, and we'll get into some of these things with the app and some of the things that I can show you with that. Again, being really efficient in the huddle and quick and being prepared, having a playbook is of the utmost importance, because we want to have more plays. That's where we have fun. We don't have fun in the huddle. We have fun running around, trying to score or trying to flag. So 5-yard no run zone, cannot run the ball from inside that area. So you have to throw it. Essentially, if you're on the 5 or the 4 or closer to the end zone, you have to throw the ball into the end zone, which makes it a little bit more challenging, but it keeps the essence of being an aerial football game. Once the ball has crossed the line of scrimmage, it cannot be handed off or tossed or pitched to any other player. So whoever has the ball, I just teach them to run hard, run fast, run to space, and evade. You can, as an offensive team, use multiple handoffs in behind the line of scrimmage, as long as it's behind the line of scrimmage and you're handing off behind the player. So the quarterback, this is kind of different than other football that you'll see. The quarterback cannot run past the line of scrimmage. So the quarterback has to, he can run behind the line of scrimmage and throw the ball or hand the ball off to somebody. And then unless the ball has been handed off to another player and then has been returned to the quarterback. So there's different plays, and I'll show you these plays that kind of can show you a little bit of that. The offensive ball carriers are responsible for avoiding contact, and they must keep their feet on the ground. So spinning is allowed, but no jump spinning, no jumping, no diving, those types of things, which I've mentioned before. Defensive players are eligible to approach the ball as it's been snapped, but they cannot cross the line of scrimmage. So defensive players just can't rush in to the backfield or to the quarterback, okay? They have to hold the line of scrimmage, but they start at 5 and then they can move up from there or move back. The rusher must stay at the 5-yard mark until that steamboat. Now, he doesn't have to be frozen there. He could be in an athletic stance and moving side to side, but he has to be at that 5-yard mark until the steamboat count is up. Okay, again, non-contact league, emphasizing avoiding collisions. This can be done in your practices, which translate to games. All defensive players are responsible for playing the flags, not the body, and that's being in a good athletic stance. Okay, so why don't we all stand up right now? I know I can't see you, but why don't we all stand up and just work on this athletic stance, okay? So athletic stance is simply feet shoulder width apart. Yep, please stand up. Good. Hands on your knees. All right. I teach nose, knees, toes in a line. Nose, knees, toes in a line. Or put a Z in your knee, bend your knees, right? So we're just in an athletic stance. So this is where it all happens. This is where it all starts, whether you're a running back, a quarterback, a receiver, or a defender, okay? You're always in an athletic stance. Okay, you can sit down now. Okay. One thing that I do want to speak about is the rusher in the grade 3-4 league. Tell the rusher to play the flags of the quarterback. And as you can see in this photo, the tendency is to reach for the ball. Well, if that player hits the quarterback's arms, and I've been flagged on it in a tournament before where our rusher contacted the quarterback's arm, and that was a big tournament. It was a national tournament. But anyways, we want to Hey everybody, I'm back. Seems like it's coming back faster than it was before. So okay, so once a player flag up and then place it down on the ground. Before sportsmanship, we used to hand the flag off, but now we're not doing that. We flag, we put it down on the ground. Okay. We discourage any defensive players in taking the flag and then throwing it some direction. Just place it on the spot, and it helps the defensive coach spot the ball for the next play and count out the paces to the 5-yard mark and the rusher bag. So defensive players aren't allowed to pull the flag of any other player. And moving on to the next. Okay, scoring. One thing that I mentioned before, we don't keep track of score. The kids might keep track of score, but we definitely don't. So it's, 6 points, 1 point, that's fine. With our Colts division, we do not play with converts because it takes too long to set them up. If you score, boom, back to the 5-yard line where you started, and you get another play. Or if that's your 5th play, the other team gets the ball. So in the older divisions, they can play with converts because it's just a little bit quicker. It's less kind of organization to get a play in a huddle onto the field and kind of go from there. I'm not going to get into too much of this stuff. You can kind of read this on your own. One thing I will make a mention of, there's no fumbles. So if someone's running with the football and the ball falls out of their hands, immediately blow the whistle before anybody tries to reach, to dive, to jump on it, anything like that. There's no turnovers and no fumbles. So make sure that you're really, watching for any situations where there can be collision or any danger or safety issues for the player, and blow your whistle. That's why we have it, and we want to kind of get ahead of it rather than behind that type of thing. This is an important one for the younger divisions. If the quarterback does not gain possession of the ball from the center, and you can see these photos, I don't know why they're blurry, because when I put them in there at the beginning, they were so blurry, but you can see that ball getting snapped by the center between the legs. You could go between the legs or a side snap. If that ball is bobbled and it kind of ends up on the ground, in the higher divisions and the more competitive football later on, that is considered a dead play and a loss of down. Well, we don't want to do that with the kids. These young kids, we want the play to continue. The rusher is not coming on the snap of the ball, so there should be no immediate danger situation. So we're going to pick that ball up, then we're going to hand it off or whatever. We want to just kind of continue having fun rather than stopping the play and restarting and reorganizing and all that stuff. Okay. Pass interference, things that I teach, play the ball in flight. Don't play the body. So if you just say, hey, play the ball, go for the ball, reach for the ball, go get the ball, that's going to be drilled into their mind. So there will be less, collision per se of playing someone's body, which sometimes happens in the older divisions. Pick play, screening plays, and not so prevalent at this level. They're just, that would be where you're trying to like run at somebody to create a screen or a pick for somebody else. That doesn't relate to this as much. The defensive player is allowed to hold their own ground. So if you're in a space, the offensive player can't run into you. It's like charging in basketball, or, if you're in your space, that offensive player has to stop for you and evade and move. So holding your space and being grounded in your space is a good thing to teach, and a good defensive stance, and making that offensive player change direction. So one thing our league is about is sportsmanship, and it's all about skill development, sportsmanship, and having fun at all times. So I know that the pro players do a really poor example of doing this, right? Because they're the opposite. They're in the entertainment business. They're, that's part of how they get excited to play the game. That's part of their game, really. So just any, trash talking or taunting or kind of disrespectful things, just talk to them. Be like, no, celebrate with your team, or, kind of bring it into, having fun and celebrating the successes, whether it's small or big, of your players and your team. And that usually keeps it fun, and not the other way. So, I've been part of teams where, we, like, as a coach, I'm, say, hey, that was a great play, coach. That was a great run. Good job. Good catch. All those different things, because we want to build a really positive and fun experience. And that's from the top down. That's from the coaches. That's your parents on the sidelines being supportive for both teams, and really making it fun and celebrating the successes, whether they're small or big. Player safety, I've spoken about it and will continue to speak about it. It's the number one situation, keeping players safe while blowing your whistle in any at-risk situations. Encourage playing the ball or flags rather than the body, teaching your players to avoid contact. And if an offensive player, if you're running into a situation where there's defenders all around you, well, instead of running backwards and losing ground, just stop right there and get flagged, and that's okay. All right. I will mention that usually the first couple of weeks of the grade 1 and grade 2 Tykes, or sorry, Colts division football, it kind of looks like a tackle game, which is a little bit scary, but they're just trying to figure it out. They're trying really hard. They're trying to get flags. They're running really fast and forward. And so, just really teaching, and I'll get into some of the drills and those types of things, to try to evade contact, keep players safe. Some of the most important principles, again, safety, skill development, team inclusion, sportsmanship, creating a positive experience, is the role and the objective of the coach. Make sure every player touches the ball during a game. So whether that's, a rotation of quarterbacks, you're going to have two quarterbacks, one in the first half, one in the second half. Okay, well, that's two players. You have 10 players on your team. That's one game. So 5 games and everybody plays quarterback, right? Or, making sure everybody plays running back, right? And so that they get a touch, and that's important. And I know that at these younger divisions, it's really, it's easy to get everybody a touch. While in the older divisions, you want to have some more success, so that the fastest player gets the ball or the most skilled running back gets the ball more often. No, we want to make sure that everybody gets a touch, so that when they go home, they're happy, and mom and dad can talk to them. Well, we saw you get the ball, and that was really great. You made a good play, and you made someone miss, or whatever the case is. So winning and losing and the outcome is not the priority. This league was built on fun. It's always going to be fun. And it's when I started 20 years ago. It was how can we make this fun? And that is the priority today as well. As a coach, your energy, actions, words have a tremendous impact on these players. So always be encouraging and positive. If you have fun and enjoy the practices and the games, your players and the parents will too. I can assure you of that. Okay. Well, I'm still going. That's good, right? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to give you a couple minutes. If you need to use the washroom, go ahead, refill your coffee or your Baileys, whatever you're working on this morning, go ahead. I'm just going to give you a 1 or 2 minute break here. Does anybody have any questions so far? You can either type them in the chat, or you can ask me now before we switch gears into the other part of the clinic here. Okay, no, if mouth guards were required, see, this is how long I've been away. I've been living out of town a little bit. If mouth guards were required last year, yes, they are not optional. They will be required again this year. Again, I've been moving around a little bit for work, so I haven't been as dialed in with some of the league play, but you know, we encourage player safety, and mouth guards are important because in cases of collision, whether it's with the ground or another player, that will save teeth and head injury. Any other questions? Okay, so moving on, I'm going to show you. Yes, I can share a version of the PDF post clinic for you all. You can either have it printed, whatever the case is. So I'm going to open up the Saskatoon Minor football website. And I'm going to try to screen share that. And on this website, if we go to leagues and programs, and then this drop down box arrow right here on the 5-on-5 flag football, then we've got schedule, rules, resources. So this will open up, I believe, that this presentation. And I'm going to open this up again, and we have some resources on here. And this is a little bit more catered to maybe some older divisions. When I was looking at this playbook before, this has color coordinated numbers, which I like, big drawn plays. This particular play is called Captain with some arrows, all hooks. That's a 7-yard play. You know, this one is called Flute, but you've got flags and you've got outs. All right, so this is, we do have some, you know, options here for plays. Again, these patterns are a little bit on the long side, I would say, for a young division. So if you're, so what yard line do all the players start at in grades 1 through 4? They start 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage. So you know what's a really good offensive play? A 3-yard pass play. Because the defense is at 5, they can run 3 and out and get the ball in their hands successfully. Short play, less chance of interception, so that they can catch the ball, have success. Get the ball into players' hands, and that, you know, that is fun. And they're one wiggle away from making something happen, one missed flag away from, you know, a big positive gain or a short one or whatever the case is. Okay, so we do have these resources on our website here, and there's also a defensive playbook. And I was looking this before. This is a little bit more heavy duty with triangles or, you know, boxes or different types of defense. So in saying that, this is a good template for a coach to look at and be like, okay, well, I've got grade 2s that have never played before. Maybe this doesn't relate as much, but you can use some of these same principles as this right here. So now what I'm going to do, yes. Someone send me the links to the offensive defensive playbooks. Good. And after this clinic, everybody, I will definitely be sending you, you know, a direct link to some of these things as well. So from here, I'm going to open up an app on our phone. So my phone, and I'm learning about this app too, because like I said, I'm a little old school. I'm kind of in person and hands-on, and the football comes easy to me, but the technology doesn't. But what we're doing now is trying to make it accessible. And this is a great app that I'm starting to look at and learn a little bit about. And this is the app right. Okay, this is the app. This is the Football Canada app. So it's right beneath my Domino's Pizza app. It's kind of embarrassing. Okay, so from here, we have the app. There's no current news. Okay, but as a coach, I've got practice plans and drills. Let's look at practice plans. Okay, there's a library. There's a template. You can kind of scroll within this practice plan template. Okay, well, warm up 10 minutes. All right, well, I like this kind of template. All right, so I'm going to heart this in the top corner, which is going to create it as a favorite. So literally, you can articulate what you like, create it as a favorite, and have it as your own, whether this is, at your practice or you want to transfer it to paper or whatever the case is. You can really kind of build for success and having a plan and being prepared and having playbooks and these types of things, because the more prepared you are, the more fun everybody else can have. Okay, so first thing, warm up. Well, let's maybe get ourselves a little bit warmed up here. Okay, so everybody stand up. I know that we're sitting and I can't see you, so that's okay. You don't have to stand up if you don't want. You can watch me. Okay, but the warm up is a great place to teach kids fundamentals. So the first one would be stance. Okay, everybody, tweet, tweet, whistles blown. Everybody come in for practice. Hey, let's make a big circle. Everybody arms distance away. Let's start with a slow clap. I don't know how loud that is, but I'm going to go pretty gentle here. Okay, slow clap. What does slow clap do? It's about inclusion. Everybody's doing it. It brings an energy about it. It's fun. Everybody slow claps. Everybody's in a big circle. Okay, everybody, welcome to practice. I'm Coach Matt. This is our team, everybody. Let's go around and play the name game. Everybody say your name. We're going to start here and go around the circle. Everybody says their name. Okay, we're a team. We still don't even have a team name yet, but by the end of practice, we're going to pick one. Okay, and then from there, so we're going to do a dynamic warm up to start. On the whistle, everybody's going to line up on these cones over here, spaced out, right? We want to keep our spacing, our distance, our own little areas, okay, and work out. On the whistle, everybody go run behind each one of these, 10 cones that are set up or whatever you have, right? Tweet. They all run to those cones. First things, okay, everybody, let's get into a stance. Show me your football stance. Feet out, shoulder width apart. You're going to bend your knees. Coaches, I hope you're doing this on screen. I can't see you, but I hope you're doing this too, because you got to physically do it to show them. They do not understand by just words. They understand by seeing it. So you got to be a demonstrator, a good coach with good verbal cues and good points to emphasize. So hands on knees, bend your knees. Nose, knees, toes, all in a line. Okay, stand up. Stance. Stand up. Coaches, you're moving too slow. Stance. Okay, so this is how we teach our stance, just an athletic stance. Okay, now everybody reach up, get on your tiptoes and reach to the ceiling, reach to the sky. Coaches, I hope you're doing this. Stance. Up. Stance. Up. Up. Stance. Did I get you? Okay, so listening to cues, getting into a football stance. Okay, now from here, get into your stance. There's another line, or there's a line across the field, 10 yards, maybe 15, not too far away. Okay, when I say down, set, hut, you're going to jog or run over to the other side. Down, set, hut, good. You're going to jog to the other side. Okay, get back in that. They jog to the side, get back into that stance again. Okay, running back. This is a running back stance. Okay, everybody create your arms like this, like an alligator chomper. Okay, hold your arms up. So your belly's exposed, that's where the ball goes. Switch your arms, other elbow, chomp, chomp. Okay, that's how we receive a handoff. Okay, usually elbow closest to the quarterback is up, so that the quarterback can slide the ball into the space right here. Okay, running back stance, alligator chomp, switch sides. Okay, so now we're working fundamentals, skills, and doing it all within our warm up, which can be 10 minutes to start a practice. Okay, everybody, now we're going to switch our stance. Let's go into a receiver stance. So I'll show you my feet. Split stance. I've never done a clinic in socks before. Split stance, okay? 1 foot up, 1 foot back, okay? From there, what we're gonna do is you're gonna skip across to the other side. On my whistle, tweet, and you skip. High knees across, big smiles, all right? All right, and then so that's receiver stance, okay? And a skip, all right? So we did running back stance, receiver stance. Okay, let's do defensive stance. Everybody, show me your athletic stance again. Defenders, get your hands up so that you're ready. Okay, now motor your feet, motor your feet. Stance, motor, stance, motor. Okay, I'm tired. Just kidding. Well, sort of. But so, you know, there's different ways that now we can get active, get moving, teach skills, verbal cues, staying consistent with, you know, the things that you're asking them to do with the same words. Okay, so now show me that defensive stance. Ready to go. Show me your receiver stance. Okay, show me your running back stance. Okay, we've just done, you know, a whole bunch of different stances and we kind of get them moving. Now, other things that you can do. Everybody stand on one leg and make robot arms. Now move those robot arms. Okay, or both feet on the ground, robot arms, because now we're teaching the bottom, the movement of the shoulder and the arms. Okay, now robot march across the field. High knees, robot march. Okay, then they come across the field. Okay, one leg and switch. Okay, different things that we can do to you know, create some muscle memory and give them some skills, because guess what happens when you're running with a football? You're on 1 foot all the time. Okay, how about bunny hops? Everybody give me hands on knees. Okay, running back stance. Give me the chopper, both sides. Give me a bunny hop across, right? So again, different things that we can do in the front end of our warm up to teach all of these different skills. I'm going to take a seat. Is it bad that I'm out of breath already? I need to do my practicing a little bit more, work on my skills. So from here on the app, okay, team tactics. I would go warm up and then I would do individual skills. So let's go individual skills. All right. And then this is like, I'm learning this app just as much as you are. So, you know, you can kind of poke around and just kind of see if there's any things that you like. So this is kind of a breakdown. You got a 10-minute warm up. I wouldn't go into team first. I would do team at the back end after you do your individual skills. In flag football, obviously, you need to be able to take a handoff. So that's handoff drills and running back drills. So center quarterback exchange to running back exchange. And I'm going to show you in the drill phase here, but individual skills, warm up, individual skills, water break, more individual skills, and then, you know, some team stuff. And how I like to do it, and we're going to look at the drills right now. So if I go back to the main page, I've got the drills. Okay, on here, look at this coach. Look how fast this coach draws. Isn't that impressive? This is our field setup. It's all here at your fingertips. Okay, here's your dynamic warm up. All right, jog, skip, bunny hop. And then in between all of these, you're teaching stances, quarterbacks. Oh yeah, I didn't do quarterback yet. Okay, everybody stand up again. Quarterback stance. Running back, show me running back stance. Receiver stance. Okay, 1 foot back, 1 foot forward, ready to go like a sprinter. Okay, show me defensive stance, ready to go. Quarterback stance, get your hands out in front of you. Okay, nose, knees, toes, hands out in front of you. What did quarterback say? down, set, hut, run to the line across, and then bring it back doing the same thing. So basically your dynamic warm-up would just look something as simple as it. Okay, see what I like the dynamic warm-up. I'm going to click the heart in the corner. That moves it to my favorites. So now I'm building my toolbox right now at my fingertips. Okay, we've got tackle football plays. Okay, and now we've got some. Okay, so this is a flag football play. This is an I formation. This is a reverse. Okay, maybe not with your grade 1s and 2s will this work for the first few weeks, but maybe your grade 3s, 4s, right? So they're gonna have, looks like the center's got the quarterback. Okay, center's gonna get the ball to the quarterback. Quarterback's gonna hand the ball to player Z. Player Z is gonna hand the ball to player Y. Okay, I like colors. So, you know, if you're drawing up your own playbook, maybe player X is color green and the left player is always green. And maybe the center is always blue. And maybe the cornerback is white. And maybe the running back, you know, and have a color coordinated so that every time the players come into the huddle and they'd be like, okay, you're going to be the running back, you're going to be player blue. They can see it in the huddle, whether it's on a phone, whether it's on paper. And how I do it to make it easy is I set up cones in the huddle so that I have 5 cones in the huddle. I have 5 players. Every player lines up on a cone in a specific spot. And then from that spot in the huddle, they go to 5 cones on the field so that it makes it look the same. You got a mini kind of like, you know, a huddle with 5 cones. And then boom, you go out to those 5 cones and you line up. Then you run the play. You run the play on air where you're running it against no defense. And then if you have 10 players on your team, then the next coach is kind of bringing the next 5 into the huddle, showing them a play, or the same coach. And then you kind of have this repetition. We got to build these reps, build this muscle memory, build the organization so that it translates from a practice into a game. We want to make all of these drills correlate with simple transfer of knowledge so that we can go from a practice field and into a game so that it looks the same. The field is set up the same. You line up in the huddle this way with the cones, and you go to the cones on the field, then you take that to your game. And as we progress and start with the simplest, whether it's for the grade 1s, 2s, and 3s, and 4s, then we can progress and you can add more. Maybe you add a defense versus the offense that you're playing, right? So that you can keep adding, you know, but we got to start with the part and then go to the bigger whole and make it really relatable to the game experience. Okay, let's see what other plays we got here. Ooh, this one looks kind of fun. So maybe you got a kid that can throw. All right. Well, this is a good throwing play. I'm going to add that to my favorites. Okay. So what you can do is you see, and I like to draw the lines. If I were to draw a playbook, I'd be drawing the lines a little bit longer. So you see pattern Y here, how it stops right there. Well, if a kid sees that, he's going to stop right there too. But if that line goes all the way across the field, okay, to the other side, all right, that player will continue to run that route, and that's where they might be open. Like I said, with this age group, get kids the ball in their hands, okay? Which makes it really difficult is when you have all these complex and you want to throw the ball deep and whatever else. Yeah, okay, if they make a catch, that's wonderful, but it's really difficult to do. So you might as well hand the ball off or throw a 2-yard pass or a 2-yard in or a 3-yard out and all of these different things. And let's see what other plays we can find, coaches. What's this slide tag? Okay, video not up. I'm not gonna look at that. Okay, here's some things for defense. Okay, grade 3, 4 division, it's 3rd down. They're on the 5-yard line. They still got 15 yards to go to get to half. Is this a good defense? Yes. You know why? Because you got players deep and you got players short. Okay. And that's a good way to look at it, right? You got 3 players that can come up and help on the run. And if it's a pass, you got players in the back end and everybody can run and chase the ball. Okay, pursue the ball. It's one of the things I use as a defense. Okay, you got to pursue the ball. 5 players on defense, everybody's got to be running to the ball. You can't stand there. On the offense, it's the opposite, right? If one player has the ball, everybody else has to freeze so that they're not blocking or running or colliding with other players. Hope that makes a little bit of sense. What other players? Oh, this one here. This one looks really relatable to these divisions, right? Except for the Colts. The Colts, we don't rush. But in the grade 3-4 division, we do have a rusher. So this is 2-2 zone. You've got an area of a field. Those 2 blue players got the high areas or the deep zones on the field, which might be 7 to 10 yards. And then the X player has 5 to the line of scrimmage. And you can kind of see how they each have a quadrant. They have a zone. So they don't follow a player wherever they go all over the field. They cover the people that come into their areas, which is the concept of zone defense. You're playing an area of the field, which I quite like. And sometimes it's easier with the youngest ones that, okay, this is your player. Wherever they go, you're going to go and you're going to mirror them. Okay. And I think that doing a little bit of both is a really good. So as you can see in this one, this would be your cover 1 coverage. All right. 1-on-1 coverage. Each defender has a specific offensive player. And when you have 2 defensive coaches on the field, it's a lot easier to tell all 5 of these players. You come up beside them, hey, you've got this one with those green cleats on. Oh yeah, you've got this one with the blue shorts on, right? And so then you get them coached up as your, so I like that 1-on-1 coverage. I'm gonna heart that and put it into my favorites. Ooh, see what this one is. Oh, I kind of like this play. This is a little bit of a misdirection. You have all your players lined up on this side over here, and they're going to run across the field. So if you're playing a team that likes to play that cover 1, right? Cover 1 style, this play is going to work pretty good, right? So this is called trip center arrow. You could call it whatever you want, but we've got 3 players, the Z, the Y, the X coming left. And then you have the center going to the right. Most kids are right-handed, right? Is this a good place to throw the ball right here? Yes, because they're right-handed, they're looking to the right, you get all the motion coming across, and then you get this player just sneaking underneath the center. You might even tell them to wait for 2 count, 1-1,000, or 1, 2, and then go. That gets those defenders out of the way, and then boom, you might have a 2-3 yard pass that turns into a 10, 20, maybe even a touchdown. I like that play. Okay, how about, well, these are starting to get a little bit confusing, but that's okay. And then again, as a coach, you're going to look at these yourself and be like, well, this is too much. I've got grade 1s and 2s, right? Or you might have, this is kind of a nice one. I like this one. I would take that X arrow. You see that arrow coming across? I would drag that all the way across the field so that it's beneath the Z. But anyways, that you got a deep pattern in the Y, you've got a deep out with the Z. The center is doing a flag, all right, to the opposite side. Flags are in the corner. We call those flag patterns because typically in the stadiums, the flags are in the corner, the back corners, and towards the corner of the end zone or the flag. And then the X player is running right to the middle of the field. When you have a rusher that leaves after 3 or 4 steamboats, where is going to be open on the field? The center of the field where that rusher leaves eventually, right? So if it's a 3 steamboat count and you can get someone into the middle of the field at that 3, 4, 5 seconds, it's going to open up. So that's kind of a nice place to kind of have a receiver when the rusher leaves in the grade 3-4 division. In the grade 1-2 division, hand the ball off. I'm telling you, hand the ball off. Fake a reverse, hand the ball off, fake the reverse. The defense might move and you're 1 wiggle away. Again, we want everybody to touch the ball. We want everybody to have a positive play. All right. And the easiest way to do that is to hand the ball off. And then you'll watch each week that you have a practice in a game, you're gonna see the progression. And they're gonna, if you have your practices relatable to the games and move kind of in, a way where, okay, we're gonna work on our handoffs right, with all those players, then, that'll translate to doing your right toss or your right on game day. Let's see what else we got here in our app. I kind of like this one. Split trail. So what I do, and I ran a football league. Well, I was running the league at the time, but I also coached a group of girls that didn't have a coach. And so they were from all different areas of town. And none of them, they didn't really have any football experience. They had some sport experience, but not a lot of football experience. So this was one of my staple formations on offense. And I would be like, okay, this time we're going to fake to Z and we're giving to X. And that's all I do. And I just, okay, and then I'm going to fake to X and give to Z. And I just made sure that each one of these girls got a touch. And if they made one person miss, it was a good game. So I like this play. And it doesn't have to be a pass play, but eventually we got into that. Once we started giving the ball so much to these players, what did the defense do? Oh, well, they're going to get the ball. I'm going to come up. And then who do you throw to? Maybe the center, right? Because defense is coming up. You've ran the ball 6 times back to back, right? Throughout the course of the game. So these are little games within the games to kind of set yourself up for success and have some fun as a coach. Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, I like these. So one thing that I'll teach, especially if you're going to throw the ball, you're only looking at half of the field. If you tell a quarterback to look at the whole field, that is 4 offensive players, that is 5 defensive players. That's a lot of people. But if you tell your quarterback, okay, you're going to look for Billy or you're going to look for Macy on this play, okay, like you're giving them 1 or 2 people or one particular player to throw to. That player runs a short pattern, 1, 2, 3 yards, doesn't go 5 yards where the defense is, right? You're going to really give the quarterback an opportunity for success. So for here, I'd say, hey, quarterback, okay, these are the patterns, everybody. You get your coaches, you can line them up in the huddle. Okay, quarterback, you're gonna roll to the right, which is like taking 3, 4 steps to the right, and then you're gonna hit Z, who is Zach. Okay, you're gonna hit Zach on a little 1 or 2 yard little out there. So you're just gonna take 3 steps, and then you're gonna throw that out. Okay, I like that. QB rollout looks at half the field. You give them 1 target to look at. And again, maybe you got grade 3, 4s that have played a little bit. Then you could say, hey, you're going to look at Zach or you're going to look at Y, right? And then you give them 2 options. I hope this is making a little bit of sense for you folks. All right. I was a big fan of all hooks. That's in my favorites, by the way. Ooh, what about this? Okay, this one was kind of similar to one we did before, but it's going the other way. So I kind of like that, having one going one way and one going the other way. Okay. All right. Hey, this is a simple play. Run right, draw. They call it a draw. Just run right, run left. Toss right, toss left. Okay, get the ball into somebody's hands. Hey, everybody else, you run as far as you can down the field and then stop and play freeze. This just gets, you don't want to run necessarily right at the rusher. You want to run in between the outside defender and the rusher into that space and then try to make someone miss. There's lots of plays on this thing. Holy smokes. And then, oh, crossers. This is always a classic right here, because guess what? If the team that you're playing against plays a lot of cover 1, where they're following players, is this going to be a good play? Yeah, because they got to follow these players wherever they go on the field. And if they take their eyes off their players and Z goes all the way to the sidelines or C goes all the way to the sidelines, that's where they get open. You're not open in the middle of the field. There's too much action. There's a rusher there and stuff. Get to the sidelines or make a throw that way. Okay, let's see what else we got. Mhm. Okay, this is one of my favorite drills. Okay, handoff line. This isn't quite how I'd coach it up, but this is a good opportunity. Got 3/4, 3 backs at the same time. Who else could you add on this play to get 9 people involved in one play or at one time in one practice drill? All you need is 3 footballs. The center. Center snaps to the quarterback, either a side snap or between the legs. Down, set, hut. Center snaps to quarterback. Quarterback steps and turns open to the right, hands the ball off, and that player runs. Where does the running back go to next? Well, they go into the back of the line, or the running back becomes the next center. The center bounces back to the quarterback. The quarterback becomes the running back. Now you have 9 players engaged. All right. If you have 12 players on your team, you've got 3 people watching, right? Then you've got 3 centers, 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs. Everybody is running to the right every time there's a down set hut. That's a lot of repetition. That's a lot of learning each of the skills, because we want all these players to be able to play quarterback, to play running back, to play center, and to be able to be confident in it. Okay. So after you run right and everybody gets 2 handoffs to the right, flip, run left. And then this is an individual skill-based situation. Then later in practice, you're doing this type of play in the huddle, right? You have a huddle, you have 5 cones. Oops. You have 5 cones. Everybody's in this. Then your play is drawn up to run right, where you have obviously 2 receivers that are going to run straight down the field. You have a center that's going to get the ball back to the quarterback, who's going to turn to the right and hand the ball off to that player. Do you see that how that transfers into this drill, into team time at the end of practice, into game time? That's the type of progression that we want. And if you have big drawn up plays with colors, or colors of each position, then they get to understand, okay, the running back is blue every time, and I'm in the blue spot and I see it right here and I'm going to run right. And that, so you kind of, and it takes a lot of repetition, but you're going to see these players, grasp it. And what other stuff do we have? Okay, so obviously you can see, oh, we got snapping. Yep. Okay, center snap. That's very important. What happens on every play? The center snaps the ball. If you can snap the ball, that's a good thing. Okay, and you can snap it well. So I'm just going to show you 2 options: grade 1s and 2s. I don't even have a football. I don't have a whistle. I can't believe I'm doing a clinic right now. Anyways, so from here we have a football. I teach the side snap with the grade 1s and 2s because it's really difficult like this to snap the ball between your legs without fumbling it. So I teach a side snap. So good athletic stance, turn to the side, pick up the ball, side snap it back to the quarterback. Quarterback says down set hut, gets the ball. Now they become the center. They turn sideways. They put the ball down. Okay, quarterback, you say down set hut, boom, and then they snap it back. You literally do that back and forth 3, 4, 5 times each at the start of practice, right? And then from there, okay, that's the center quarterback exchange. Let's do quarterback, throwing the ball 3 yards or 5 yards back and forth, right? So that now you've got the center quarterback exchange, you've got the quarterback pass and the throw. You can do your running stuff, right? Your running plays. These are all different things that you can kind of articulate, these different skills, fundamentals that you need to do on every single play. Well, if you integrate that together in your practice with, you do the dynamic warm-up, which teaches all the fundamentals of stance, takeoff, different running things, body balance, jumping, all those things. Then you translate it into the skill development, which is center quarterback exchange, quarterback throwing, handoffs, right? Center quarterback to running back, right? Then you translate that into the bigger picture with the whole team. Stay with me. We're almost there, folks. Okay, so we've got obviously, you can tell And then look, so my drills, I could create my own drill, and maybe I'll do that. Add to the drills. But now I've got my favorites. Look at that. Look how many favorites I have. Right? Right. So now I've got all these favorites and they're at my fingertips. So now when I got my practice, right? Now I can kind of articulate my practice plan, okay, with the drills that I like. Okay. So that's kind of like, how we build our let me see if I can stop the screen share. That's how we kind of can build, something that that can be very functional and very usable. And Brian, the commissioner of SMF, said that he would even do a small tutorial on the app itself. But I think that we had downloaded the app last year. Do we need to download it from the beginning of this year? Or can we build on? I think you can build on the one you already have. So, this is good if you have experience with the app. The app is kind of new to me. So, basically it's, it's there for tools. And, the internet is a great resource too. You type in flag football, I'm sure there's tons of stuff that comes up. A lot of people have stuff up there, that you can use. And as a coach, and over the years, what I've done is if I see something, I like it, and I think it's going to work for me, then I put it in my toolbox. And that's what coaching is like all the years and all the things. I like that drill. Oh, I didn't think about doing it that way. Well, I'm going to add it to my toolbox. Okay. And so that's how coaching works. And, I hope that this has given you some things. And if you do have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat right now, because I don't, unless there's some things that you have, I don't really have much else specifically. Next week, I'll be doing one for the older divisions, grade 5 through 8, which is going to be a little bit more, it'll be the same, except towards the end, I'm going to discuss a little bit more of the play. In the 3-4 division, if the QB hands off, can the runner throw or run? Yes, that is the case. So in Stamps division, I'm the quarterback, down, set, hut. I hand to the right. The running back runs sideways, okay, does not cross the line of scrimmage. And the defenders can't cross the line of scrimmage. Remember, the defenders have to come up to the line of scrimmage, hold the line of scrimmage. That running back can throw the ball. That is right. That is correct. Any other questions? And I'm going to have to confirm with you because I'm the Tykes coordinator, which is the 3, 4, 5-year-olds, just the little guys. And there's a flag coordinator in Tyler Byer and Brian Giebert, the commissioner, that more directly work with the flag. But I think I have some of the answers for you in this situation in regards to some of these questions. So if anybody else has any questions, feel free to ask away. I want to thank you all for taking the time to being a part of this very technically challenged clinic. Thank you. And that's for me, I was nervous, not about the football. I was nervous about the technicalities of this, but that's okay. And if you're a coach and you are a little bit nervous about this season because you have zero football experience and knowledge, that's okay. It means you care. It means you want to do well. And we're going to try to set you up to be able to do well. And whether that's resources online, whether that's the app, feel free to reach out to me or any Tyler or Brett or Brian, and we can help give you the confidence and give you a start. And just like anything in life, you have to practice. You have to practice it. If you never coached before, that's okay. But if you want to do well and you put a little time in and you're prepared and you have some playbooks and you have a good attitude, coaching is very easy. All right. So one more question. I always thought defenders had to line up 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, and they do have to line up 5 yards from the line of scrimmage on the start of a play. Okay, and now this is where it gets technical because I know that we have different specific division rules. So in the Colts division, I believe you have to stay at 5 yards. Don't quote me on that, but I'll confirm and I'll ask my the guys that coordinate specifically flag. In the Colts division, from my sense, if it's a run play, everybody starts at 5, and if it's a run play and that player crosses the line of scrimmage, they can go get him. In the older division, the 3-4 division, everybody starts at 5, and on the snap of the ball, the defenders could come up to the line of scrimmage or 2 yards away from the line of scrimmage if they wanted to, but they can't cross the line of scrimmage, whether it's a run or a throw. If I'm an offensive team and I have the ball going into the end zone on the 3-yard line, my defenders could line up 2 yards away or 3 yards away on the goal line, okay, to protect the goal line. So sorry if I don't have a concrete answer on that, but what I will do is I will tell the flag guys specifically that, hey, we need to clear up some of the confusion or some of the rules in regards to where we can line up on the snap of the ball in each division and where we can move to. So whether that's holding the line of scrimmage or 2 yards away, but I definitely know when you're going into the end zone, your defenders, if they're on the 3-yard line, they could line up on the goal line. Or if they're on the 2-yard line, they could line up on the goal line, right? Because they can protect the goal line. If you line up 5 yards away and they're on the 2, that is a very quick downset hut, chest pass, little toss for a touchdown. Okay. Any other questions? Well, I want to thank everybody for being on, and I want to thank everybody for taking interest in becoming a better coach and providing a great service to the kids in your community and on your team. And I think that we're hoping that the season goes smoothly and it starts and we can all have fun with football. So if you do have any questions, feel free to send me an email. I'm going to follow up with the coordinators, and we will send you an email, and I'll send you hopefully a copy of the game day procedures and protocols, and you can have that yourselves. And thanks so much for joining me this morning. Have a great season, everybody.